Now, I've had
what the bonus is of having a person transform from a bicycle to a jogger. Where's the military application on that?
I can't. I'm sure there is one.
Right? Like, that for me is a confusing thing. Like, if it went from a vehicle to a person, okay, cool. Now I get it. We're talking that's a straight up fucking military thing.
Transformers, totally explainable.
That's way more believable than a fucking bicycle turning into a fucking jogger.
I totally agree.
Were they running so fast that their fucking wheels were spinning like in the cartoon? Maybe.
It's possible.
That's possible.
I still I don't know. I also maybe there was something weird in your weed. I can't say for sure.
Didn't see anything else the rest of the night, and I smoked all the weed I had the rest of the night. Nothing else was strange, I'll say that much.
That's it's definitely, you know what, I can't give an intelligent rebuttal because there isn't one. You saw what you saw, and that's the facts as they are. I don't know what to tell you. I've not had that experience. I have had a supernatural experience, only one ever in my life, and it definitely put the fear of something into me. However, I just don't know. As I said off the top, I'm very cynical, and I would love for someone to be able to convince me otherwise. And please, anyone listening tonight, it's a very important show for you guys to definitely get involved and tell me more about your experiences. I mean, there's definitely strength in numbers when it comes to these kind of things. I would like to hear more. I would like people to try harder to convince me. No one actually has gone out of their way to try, and I'm receptive. I won't mock you the way I have Gord. I do that because we're friends, and he's much cooler than me, and it's the only chance I get to make fun of him.
That's the only chance you get.
I want for there to be opportunity for me to be wrong here. I really do. So try to convince me. To this point, there's too much that can be just written off as weather patterns or weather balloons or military planes or there's just always an answer for everything, and that might be a little convenient. Maybe that's what they want us to believe.
Okay, so then let's move on to the next one, because the other story that I shared with you off the air that I'd like to bring up, that one's a lot more straightforward in the sense of a UFO thing.
Sure.
So, same girl. We were sitting on our balcony, sitting there, enjoying the night, looking at the stars. Now, for 2 weeks, because we were always looking at star patterns, always just checking out star patterns, because, I mean, you get to see, because we're both from Ontario, and we don't get to see the stars as well as you do in BC. There's just too much light pollution. Like, I'm standing out here, I got a clear sky, I'm standing here, I see one star.
Yeah, if anyone ever, if you haven't had the opportunity to drive through Saskatchewan at night, do it. The sky is, you've never seen anything like it in your life.
Oh my God, it'd be amazing. Like, I remember seeing that when I was out in PEI as a kid.
Yeah, it's just the fully...
Going farther up north, but...
The fully unobstructed sky is just amazing. It's breathtaking. Awe-inspiring, well said, yes, very much so.
Yeah. So anyway, so we're sitting on this balcony. Now, like I said, for 2 weeks, we noticed this very specific three-light pattern of a triangle in the sky. Yes, it sounds like I have a thing for triangles, but there's nothing related to it. Well, just these three very bright stars in the sky that were brighter than the rest, and when you pointed out the three of them, it pointed out to a triangle. Okay? No big deal. I mean, like, you can see shapes anywhere in the stars. That's not what stood out. None of it really stood out. It's just as much as we never noticed it before, then all of a sudden there it is. But the weird thing was that particular thing, unlike the rest of the stars where everything moves, those three stars did not move in the sky. They stayed in one position all night. Thought that was very odd. We didn't really put a whole lot of thought to it, because usually by the time we notice it, we spark up a joint, smoke a joint, kind of forget about it, whatever.
Of course.
Now, this particular night, sitting on the balcony, sitting there on a bed, we're looking up, we see the fucking triangle star again, there it is, it's the same thing the last 3 nights. We're watching the star, and then all of a sudden, I look over, I'm looking at the triangle thing, and I'm like, hey, is it just me or is it moving? And then we're both staring at it, and she's like, oh my god, it is. And it literally, because I mean, I'm not sure how to describe, you're staring at the stars in front of you right now, you have the top, the top stars in the front, and it fades down to the bottom 2 on either corner, so like the flat part of it would be the bottom of the horizon and goes up. And all of a sudden, the whole thing changed angle. And it's like it had just, instead of being like facing us as a giant flat sort of disc facing us, it tilted forward. So the top light moved forward, and then just was almost to the point where you couldn't see that front light anymore, so it sort of dimmed a little bit as it moved forward. And then the other 2 lights are on the outside corner. All of a sudden, the whole thing moved in unison, and the whole thing just flew away. And then all of a sudden, there were stars in that patch where this thing was that we hadn't seen for 2 weeks.
That's definitely odd.
It's odd, just no. I could think of 100 different solutions for what that possibly could have been. What jars me on the thing was the sheer size of it.
Sure.
The size of this thing was absolutely massive. It took up a very large chunk of the sky. Knowing that planes were floating around, like underneath it, because you would see a plane would go by, and it would go by in front of these lights. So, it's outside of our atmosphere, wherever it is, but it's still bright enough that you can still see these 3 points of light. But it was huge, and I mean fucking massive, like the size of a country massive. It was huge. It was just too big to describe. Like, if you look up and you see a plane at its farthest distance, when they would fly in front of it, you could stick like I said, Eric, I don't know, I'd think maybe 100 planes inside this triangle from that sort of distance away.
That's...
So, like, you just started doing the math on this, and like, I mean, this thing was massively huge, and if it was in our solar system, I mean, if it was in our atmosphere and actually in our airspace, that would make it dramatically smaller. But it was still weird on the placement of between where the highest plane would fly and where this thing would have been, because they all flew in front of it. Anything that flew in front of it flew in front of it. So it just didn't make any sense. But watching it actually move and then fly away right in front of us, and it was the craziest shit ever. It's just like, wow, what the fuck was that?
That is crazy. And a good place to really get some good perspective on these kind of things is other podcasts. And I'm not just saying that. There's some really great ones out there, and you can check those out on Radio Public right after you listen to me and Gord. Radio Public is the site that helps people like you find podcasts like this, and they will pay us if you listen to us. So when you listen to Radio Public, everybody benefits. You just download an app. There's no passwords. There's no subscriptions. There's no hidden fees. It's kind of like listening to the radio. In fact, there's even a radio mode you can click on and listen as if you're listening to the radio. And when me and Gord are done, maybe some show you've never heard before comes on and blows you away. There's definitely some great alien ones to check out. So go to the App Store or Google Play Store, download the Radio Public app, and get started today. And I mean that. I do listen to some really good conspiracy ones, and there's great paranormal ones out there. So check them all out. I know it seems like I have to say that, but I don't. I mean it.
Yeah, no, it's true. There are some great other podcasts out there, without a doubt. We are still the best. There's no denying it. But that being said, there's some pretty cool shit out there.
Oh, especially on these topics. And now, I also see part of me has to apply my regular everyday philosophy to this too, because there's people that believe that there's aliens walking amongst us and living as humans and doing human things, and we just don't know it. And my mind instantly goes to, well then, so what? if they look like humans and they do human things and they've been living amongst us for all this time, then who the fuck gives a shit? They're just humans.
I'm cool with that thought.
You know, really, but they live amongst us. So what? So do lots of...
Are they bothering you?
They're not... Lots of closet fucking Jim Belushi fans walk amongst us, too. They never admit it, and you never know, but late at night when no one's around, they watch According to Jim and laugh. They're amongst us, too. So I don't care.
No, that's never a thing. Like, I mean, I just don't know. That's not something I've ever cared about either. I just don't care. If they are, so be it. Fuck them, let them. Who cares?
The truth is out there. Yeah, it is. Good, great. That's. I don't get the point. I don't. I'm just. There's nothing pragmatic about it that's worth my pursuing. Although I am. You've got me now to a point where I want to believe in you, and I want to have. I feel almost as though I'm missing out because I've never had something like this, and that's the big part of my cynicism is just because I haven't even had an inkling. I've never seen something that went, oh, that's peculiar. Like I said, I have had a supernatural experience, but that's different. That's a whole nother show. And I was the same as I am now about that until it happened to me, and now I'm different. That scared the bejesus out of me. I didn't even know I had the bejesus in me, but that scared it right out.
What is the bejesus, and what does it look like?
It wasn't easy to.
Eric and Gord, whatever, right?
It wasn't easy to clean. Don't get bejesus all over the floor. If someone scares the bejesus out of you, make sure you're over the sink or something. Oh, that wasn't the bejesus. That was the spaghetti factory. It's stupid.
You know, there was one night I was sitting not too long after I moved out to BC. We had just moved from one apartment into another one, and the new apartment was great because we had an unobstructed view of Grouse Mountain, which was really nice. One night I saw this very strange light that was hovering around Grouse Mountain, but it wasn't over like the actual like skiing area. It was off to the side during all the big foresty part. And I thought, well, that's really weird. So I'm watching this light, and it went on for it must have been out there for about 45 minutes. It wasn't until about the last 15 that I actually couldn't discover what it was. It was a fucking search helicopter.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
For the record, before that point, I was really high. And I was like, and I could not for life be straight. I'm thinking, why is this thing? Because it was just literally just darting back and forth, but doing the same sort of loop. And it was doing like a grid pattern sort of thing. So like, what is it?
Nope.
Scanning the land? Is it looking for its friends? Like, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, the fog lifted up from my eyes. I don't know what it was. But all of a sudden, I saw the searchlight, and then if I really straight, I could actually hear the sound of it. Like, oh.
You know what? I was just thinking, for someone who's so cynical and doesn't believe, I spent a good portion, probably the majority of my youth, looking for Ogopogo. Absolutely convinced that Ogopogo is real.
I'm assuming, obviously, you never found it?
Never saw Ogopogo, never saw a trace of him. Unsolved Mysteries filmed from my home. They came to look for him there. That was awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really neat. They didn't find anything either. There was one video that was so convincing they sent it to NASA. A guy filmed a video of what we believed to be Ogopogo's feeding grounds, and it turned out to just be a really big beaver. But they sent it to NASA because NASA had the best film analyzing technology at the time.
Fucking beaver.
And yeah, it was just a giant, like, big ass beaver. Beavers can get big.
They definitely can.
This one wasn't. It was like 7 feet, but it had a big wave behind it, which looked like a tail. I was very happy to find out that he was real, and then very, very subsequently let down. And it's the same with I kind of, like I say, I hope there's aliens out there, and I hope we get to see them in our lifetime. I don't think we will unless we go to their planet.
And I'm pretty sure if a human ever got close to one of their planets, they already know enough